Welcome to Saturday's competition, the 2017 National Collegiate Paintball Association Championships. I'm Matty Marshall alongside Kevin Catfish Arcia. So the first game of the day is going to be the University of Central Florida Knights, and they're going to take on Michigan State Spartans. So Catfish, yesterday, I really loved how well Central Florida played. I mean, Central Florida was outstanding yesterday.
Oh, they were shooting their lanes great, man. I mean, anyone that ran through the lanes they were putting paint down were getting eliminated, especially on the snake side, man. It looked like they just couldn't get down the snake.
Their game against Purdue, and Purdue definitely came with some game yesterday too, but it just the way that Central Florida was murdering Purdue off the break, like you were saying, on this snake side of the field was pretty much textbook. Any of the other teams out there, even the teams that were playing well, how Central Florida was executing those off-the-break shots here, particularly snake side, so much that Purdue just stopped going over there.
Yeah, they just stopped. I mean, the snake was not even in their game plan anymore at that point.
Absolutely. So, and while we have a couple moments here before the start of this first point, we're taking a look at this layout. Now, this is the layout for Dallas coming up, and I thought it played pretty well yesterday. So, you know, that Doritos side of the field, the one over by the stands, it's a pretty standard Doritos side. It's pretty easy to get out there. There's a lot of work you could do from there, and most teams, they're going to have a presence on that side of the field. Now, the snake side, similar to Vegas, the NXL event in Vegas, it's a snake that it's important to be there, but like we watched Central Florida, those off-the-break shots, it's tough to get in. But once you get in, you can do a lot of work there. So it's the smart teams, the teams that are making smart secondary moves, getting into that snake. Those are the teams that are prevailing over here on this side of the field. So it's very similar to Vegas. But this snake it's a little easier, I feel, to play this snake than the more complex snake that we had in Las Vegas. So heading into the big event in Dallas and today's competition, you know, I really feel Central Florida played well yesterday. The Penn State-East Carolina game was pretty awesome.
Yeah, that was a battle right there.
Drexel played well yesterday. Texas A&M was on fire yesterday. They ended up taking down Liberty in the last game of the day. So as far as the favorites are concerned, Central Florida, the Knights are absolutely one of the favorites here. And I'm interested to see here in this matchup against Michigan State. Are they going to come with the exact same game plan? Are they going to change things up a little bit? I would probably roll with the exact same game plan as they were implementing yesterday against Purdue.
Definitely going to try and run with the same game plan. I mean, put some points up on the board early, and then possibly switch it around and see what's going on.
And so Michigan State, the Spartans, they beat up the Tennessee Volunteers yesterday.
Yeah.
So we're looking at a situation where Michigan State, they had a pretty big win yesterday, won 7-3, and then Central Florida, a little bit closer game. It was 6-4. I think it was actually 7-4 in that particular match, but just the way that Central Florida handled this off-the-break shooting was really the big difference. So if they can keep that going today, they really, really can prevail. We'll see. Here we go, first point of the day, and Central Florida is going to be on your left, and Michigan State on your right. It looks like Michigan State first to lose a body there out of that center. It is 4-on-5 to get things rolling, and now attacking that snake side of the field. Central Florida, they still, again, Catfish, those off-the-break kills.
Yeah, it looks like they're sending, it looks like Central Florida is the first to get to the wall. They're just real good at shutting that snake down, man. I mean, they're getting their shots on that lane, and no one's able to get in there.
Evans played really well yesterday, and he's continuing to do so. He's up at the center 50 and wraps around, gets a kill, and now launches. Only a couple players left alive for Michigan, and it is not looking good for them here as Evans runs through the center. That is a great way to start your day here. Evans just handling up in that center of the field. Got to the wall, wraps around, he got a kill, and then launched. So Brandon Evans, at least a 3-pack for him, I feel, on that particular point.
Definitely. We also had Justin backing him up and the snake getting down in there. But, I mean, Evans was already on their side of the field when Justin decided to cross the 50 on the snake.
Well, Evans, when we came out here this morning, Evans was the first guy from Central Florida here at the field and was geared up and ready to go, just sitting in the pits. And I was like, hey, you ready to go today? And he had a big old smile on his face and definitely looking pretty good here. Catches that guy sleeping, he comes out. And then he runs through, makes extra super duper sure that guy's dead. So there he is, Brandon Evans, number 8 for Central Florida. So 1-0 is that score. And again, Michigan State, they had a really solid game against Tennessee Volunteers. But, Catfish, we're talking about teams that kind of folded up yesterday. feel that the Tennessee Volunteers, they had a rough go of it.
Oh, man. They came out. You know what? They were battling there for a minute, and then just, I don't know if they lost steam or just lost concentration, because after losing a few points in a row, it just went downhill for those guys, unfortunately.
Yeah, and it was a weird situation as well, because they had just come off a pretty dramatic one-on-one victory.
Yeah, it was pretty dramatic.
To pull within one. I think it was a 1-point spread. But then after that,
they didn't even get to the station.
Well, they tried to call a timeout with under like 10 seconds. I think there's 3 seconds left, and you can't do that. You can't call a timeout under 10 seconds. But after that, it was just a complete downhill fall. But Michigan State kept putting the pressure on, running up the score, which really helped their point spread. But I'm hoping they scouted Central Florida yesterday, because if Central Florida keeps doing what they're doing, I mean, again, it's pretty easy to play paintball when you're playing 4-on-5 every single point.
Definitely. I think they did some scouting, because on that breakout, I didn't see anyone going to snake side, or at least overextending on the snake side. So they were pretty much safe on that side a little bit, you know. And but they lost a guy, and the tall stand up in the back, and went down here from there.
Well, yeah. Well, I'm still waiting for the opponents, whoever it is, that's playing University of Florida, to put paint back at their shooters. Yeah. Nobody is shooting at their shooters. And if those guys don't have to flinch and they get hunkered into their shots, they seem to be producing kills at a pretty rapid clip. So now Central Florida pushing up on the D side. This is what we talked about when we were looking at this field layout and seeing it play yesterday, is how that D side, that's the first place that most people attack, and then on the secondary get into the snake. So UCF is doing a real good job of pushing both sides of the field, Cap.
Looks like Michigan lost their snake player, and we have Central Florida in Dorito 3. But we got one of their players also getting the snake 2, trying to get that shot on the wall, the 50 wall. So yeah, here it goes.
Well, it was a good job for the Spartans to actually get to the wall off the break. And I'd stayed alive in there a while, but here comes UCF. UCF is the timing, Catfish, from UCF right now is just on point.
Yeah, man. They've studied the field, you know, did their homework, and from playing it, they know exactly where they're shooting. They're not overextending. They're winning their gun battles is what's very important right now. And the teams they're playing against are just being outplayed right now.
Well, and for Central Florida, they're getting production out of multiple players on their team. Silverling had a good day yesterday. Brandon Evans was on fire. Cheatham, he's been playing well again across the board. Yeah, Cheatham. So with that score sitting at 2-0, 7 minutes and 40 seconds to go here in the first half of the first game of the day. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back.
You know what makes paintball so amazing? The precedence is the top players will always dominate, and maybe that's true, just maybe. But the very concept of competition is that just because you're strong doesn't mean you can't be overcome. Every long shot or every underdog will tell you the same thing. The odds will be against you. The route to victory is a dark and windy road, but this test has no answer. This test is not science, it's not a textbook reference. This is a completely different universe, one where hard work and passion will always trump logic. The ticker has begun. In 5 seconds, that buzzer will go off. And before you make your first step, just remember, the past will not always add up to your future. No stat nor lineup makes the difference of who wins and loses until your moment arrives. And that is what makes paintball amazing. The new season has begun, and a whole new level of support is here. Take your team to the highest level of competition with industry-leading support and the best equipment paintball has to offer. And that's not all. We love winning just as much as you, and when your team wins, we all win. Join the sponsorship program and earn tons of free paint this year. Hear more at paintballsponsorship.com.
So we'll see if the Spartans can get some offense rolling. It's been all the nights thus far. Let's check in with the third member of our broadcast team, Lauren Kelly.
Thanks, Maddie. Michigan State guys were talking about the snake side in their pit. They said UCF is really pushing hard down the snake side, so they're going to try to fend them off, keep them from getting down the snake side so they can get some points here.
Well, that is a true statement, but they're pushing everywhere, Catfish.
Yeah, they are definitely pushing everywhere. You're going to need to stop everywhere. Looks like we got a UCF player coming off the D side of the field right now.
Actually, that's 2 UCF players that are coming off early. One from the D side, one from the snake side, so just 3 bodies left alive. This is the opportunity that the Spartans wanted to create for themselves. And Evans a little frustrated as he gets clipped, trying to get into the red zone on the snake side. So just 2 bodies out on the field right now for the Knights. See if the Spartans can move up, get in better field position. They need to do it carefully. You don't want to squander this high body opportunity.
Yeah, definitely looks like the Spartans are giving them a dose of their own medicine, shooting 2 off the break. I mean, playing 5-on-3 is very nice.
And there goes another one. So just 1 player left alive, and there's still a ton of time left. This is kind of when you would expect the Knights to be conceding this point and give one to the Spartans, as it's pretty overwhelming as far as the body count is concerned. But I don't think the Spartans have the countdown, Catfish.
I don't think they do either.
Which I've been seeing this throughout the weekend. I don't understand how, you have a coach right beside you out on that field. And this is the only format in which you can have that luxury. And it's really kind of up to the coach and the guys playing the snake side to listen to the coach to carry those kills cross field. That they figured it out. Nice work by the Spartans, giving the Knights a little taste of their own medicine off the break. Got a kill on the kill on the snake side, and then a kill pretty much right after that on the D side.
Yeah.
And then Brandon Evans died out of his spot. Another body dropped, and that was it.
Spartan making a little statement here. All 5 alive, I believe, on that one. That was a really good point for them.
That was a good point. And watching how Michigan State played yesterday, I was hoping we were going to see a good game here.
Yeah.
Obviously, you always want to see a competitive match, but I was really scared for the Spartans for a while here for the first couple of points, as it was looking like UCF was just going to do the same thing they did to Purdue yesterday, just nonstop. But the Spartans were able to get those crucial kills in the beginning. So 6:02 left in this first half, and it's a 1-point game.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the Spartans are going to need to get Carlin into the snake a little bit quicker. I mean, he was doing some work in there yesterday for them. So, I mean, they can get him in there quicker than the UCF players can get their snake player in there. I mean, Carlin is definitely capable of shooting 1 or 2 people off the.
Yeah, I'm also wondering from a survivability question as far as living in your bunkers. I mean, so when we first looked at this layout, and I was like, okay, 2 back temples that are big. There's a mini wall bunker in the back. It looked like a field that could, 1, potentially play a little slow, and 2, be a gunfight heavy field. We're not seeing that completely, because that D side you can get in there pretty easily, and then and you can get in the snake on secondaries pretty easily. It's kind of hard to make the snake off the break. Some teams did make that. Some teams made D3, the red zone, off the break.
Yeah, the Pirates were making that consistently, and to me that was real impressive.
But what I'm wondering is how much did guys learn from the layout yesterday, and are we going to continue to see the massive amount of in their bunker deaths like we saw yesterday? You notice that? We saw a lot of guys trying to gunfight out of those back bunkers, which, hey, it's paintball. That's part of the game. That's going to happen regardless of the layout. But when you have a couple big towers, sometimes guys will tend to loiter at those spots and want a gunfight from those positions a little bit more than they normally would instead of getting up the field. So we did see a lot of inner point deaths, a lot of guys dying out of their spots. And here, UCF triple stacks the back center off the break, and they lose one of those bodies.
Yeah. Looks like Michigan State also lost one of their players that was kind of out in the open. I believe that was Carlin.
Well, Michigan State just bounced the stand-up tower here, snake side. He just caught a lucky bounce.
Gotta love those, right? The UCF making a push into the white zone. So they've got another Michigan player coming off. I believe that's...
there goes the Knights on your screen into snake
Chris.
1, right past snake 2, goes almost to the 50-yard line.
Yeah, definitely. We got 3 Spartans walking off at this point.
And the better teams, this is how they're working the snake. If you don't have, if there's no one in the snake with you, and there's no one in the back corner bunker on the snake side, and there's no one in the tower, and you get in the snake, there's no reason you shouldn't be at the 50-yard line.
Yeah, definitely. UCF putting an impressive point up on the board again.
Man, if that ball had broke on that stand-up temple, it might have been a little bit of a different story. But
Cheat Ham locking it in. You check that guy. Cheat Ham. That's a pretty awesome name.
Well, that's a pretty good paintball name. Yeah. That's the one where, if you're a ref and you see the guy's name's Cheat Ham, it's like, well, is that a nickname? Is that, what are you trying to tell me something here?
I'm going to have to check your gun right now.
Yeah.
Let's just do that anyways.
Yeah, I'm going to need to check your gun. Did that ball? Okay. So with 5 minutes left to go here, a 2-point spread. UCF, another awesome point by them. See if the Spartans can get it back. And we're going to take a brief moment here and hear a few words from our sponsors.
The DieGF Boomstick is the next evolution of the legendary die barrel line. Our glass fiber barrels are constructed using the same custom assembly process as our trusted carbon fiber barrels. At the heart of the GF Boomstick is a gun-drilled 303 surgical steel insert, which has an extremely low coefficient of friction, provides the ultimate in durability, and gives you the smoothest surface finish. Two-piece alignment is a critical factor in a barrel's true accuracy. The GF's self-centering angled surfaces ensure proper back-to-tip mating, eliminating tolerance variations in thread wear. Dye's trademark muzzle port design gives the GF unparalleled accuracy and a low sound signature. The GF Boomstick is the most accurate, quiet, and stylish barrel available. With so much performance and versatility engineered into the Dye GF Boomstick, there's no question why it has been the choice of champions around the world for well over a decade.
Getting back into this matchup here, 5 minutes left in the first half. The University of Central Florida Knights taking on the Michigan State University Spartans, and it's been mostly the Knights so far. The Spartans did have a pretty solid point, which is why they do have one on the board, but Catfish, man, the Knights are just dominating this game. And,
Yeah.
and I don't, obviously the Spartans are still in it. There's only 2-point spread right now, and there's a lot of time left, but the game plans that Central Florida is coming with, the aggression that they're showing, and the way that they're making these secondary moves, it's going to be hard to stop. They're definitely one of the favorites here right now, and this is a big test for the Spartans. So off the break, it looks like a clean break for UCF as they are able to get 5 bodies alive, and they took a pretty big bite on the D side, and now into the red zone immediately, and then got into the snake pretty quick. So not scared to push forward.
Definitely not. I mean, the Spartans over here double stacked behind the snake here, trying to keep that snake player out of there, but unfortunately he just dipped right in there. Then his back player rotated in behind him, which is giving him, support. Now he's just there listening to his coach, waiting for the instructions. And there he goes.
Well,
Snake two.
If the Spartans want to win this game, they can't just continue to have this. You notice how they have a little bit more conservative of a breakout, Catfish?
Yes, I
where
do.
they're spreading the field out wide, but they are allowing, they're pretty much conceding the front bunkers to the Knights, which is why these points are getting run up so quickly here.
Oh, man, tactical. And there goes the 5th one.
That's another fast one.
Another quick point
Yes.
for the Knights.
The Spartans got to, if you want to hang with the Knights right now, you have to, again, if there are no
Stay
threats,
alive.
well, staying alive is a big part of it too. But I feel like for the most part, okay, yeah, the Spartans are losing a body here or there off the break, but they're not pushing up. They're not getting any, there are no threats. No one on the Knights is scared of anyone on the Spartans right now.
No, not at all.
Why is that? Because the Spartans don't have aggressive game plans, and I'm not saying you have to have aggressive game plans, but what you have to do is have the ability to make those secondary moves, even if you only have 4 bodies left alive. If your game plan is get out wide and then let's play some paintball out of the gray area bunkers, that's not going to work against the Knights right now.
No,
because
definitely
they're
not.
going to be at the 50-yard line on the snake side, and they're going to be in D3 and at the wall, and they're going to be there in 45 seconds.
Definitely.
So the Spartans got to tighten up their off-the-break shots. They are getting good off-the-break shots on the D side. I feel a little bit, on the snake side a little bit more than the D side, and they're also bouncing a couple guys. I've seen the snake guy get bounced twice. So, but they have shot some guys on this snake side. But they need to put a little bit more pressure on the D side, and they need to figure out a way to get up the field.
Yeah, you're right about that. But on the flip side, man, it's difficult. It's going to be difficult for the Spartans to do that when their snake side is just getting blown out.
I never said it was easy, but that's what they have
Yeah,
to do. They
no,
still
they
have to do that. It'd be like, when you're playing on the team, the kid comes in, he's like, I just can't find a way to get out there, or the guy's putting me in. I'm like, well, then put him in. You have to find a way to do it, because what's the other option? Continue to get beat up? Would like us not do that. So if you're the Spartans right now, if I was in their pits, they look, man, they aren't destroying us off the break. We are losing a guy here or there, but we're not getting up the field. And, okay, yeah, we're bouncing these guys, but, hey, let's continue that, which means, okay, yeah, it's a tough break when you bounce a guy a couple times. However, what does that mean? That means your shot's locked in.
Yeah. I don't know. I think Spartans are going to have to start working down Dorito side, because the Knights are just taking away this snake side from them. So we got a Knight up to the 50 wall.
Well, this time the Spartans do come out with a little more aggressive game plan, but they send 2 bodies, but they send them up the center, and they're in the stand-up white cans, center of the field. One shooting D side, and he loses his gunfight, so that's not going to help.
No.
And then as soon as he loses that gunfight,
The other one goes.
the other one goes too, and here comes the attack from Central Florida.
There's 3 Spartans walking off the field. Now all of a sudden we got a 5-on-2. It just seems like, you know, the UCF player coming off. It just seems the UCF is just a couple steps ahead of these guys, and unfortunately, it's going to be an uphill battle if they're just going to continue and have to battle 2-on-4, 2-on, or 5-on-2.
It's tough to
5-on-4.
constantly be in low body situations.
Yeah, definitely.
Even if you're living through the break, but you're losing guys, and this is that survivability issue that we talked about.
Yeah.
But still, UCF is making this one look pretty easy here. This is, I mean, yeah, Spartans did have 1 point that they looked pretty good, but we still have 3 minutes left in the first half, and it's been mostly Knights. I mean, the story is the same. The Knights are shooting off the break really well, so they're not beating up the Spartans on the break like they were beating up Purdue on the break yesterday.
Yeah.
So it's not that bad yet, but yet. But they're starting to get that swagger. You notice that?
Yeah, I do.
With UCF, and they're starting to feel real confident. I mean, anytime that you're watching a game out there and the back player doesn't even jog from the back stand-up temple to the can, he just like walks up real slow, all casual, stops out in the open, looks down the field,
Takes a coffee break.
pretty much. And that's an issue if you're the Spartans. If they're feeling that cocky and confident, it's probably not going well for you out there.
Yeah. And, I mean, they're not rubbing in their face either, celebrating or anything. They're still, calm and composed. Just they know what's ahead, and they need to take care of business, get to the next step.
The Knights are looking pretty good.
Yeah.
They're definitely one of the favorites here. So let's check out a few of these replays. So there's UCF almost shooting himself.
And then,
he
bam.
dove in.
Oh, he got shot by his own player, did he?
So he dove in, lost his gun, almost shoots himself with a gun, and as he picks his head up, he gets shot, and then there's that last bunker move.
A little
making him,
back massage for Carlin.
Yeah, making him wear 4 or 5 right on the back of his head. So, yeah, it's just not looking good for the Spartans right now.
Yeah.
Luckily for them, there is a lot of time left in this match. Still a whole second half, so there's 10 minutes there and a little under 3 to go here in the first half.
Is it lucky for them, Matt, or unlucky for them?
It depends on how this keeps going. Well, let's check in again with Lauren. Looks like she's down in Michigan State's pits.
Thanks, Maddie. Yeah, things are getting pretty frantic down here in Michigan State's pits. They don't seem to have a good flow going. They are running with a bare bones team, and many of the players keep coming off every point saying they want to sit the point, but then they don't have enough players on the field, and they can't get it together and figure it out in the pits, so they're going out with a cohesive game plan for each point. Back to you.
Thanks, Lauren. What? This is the first half of the first game of the day. Maybe they tied one on last night. I don't know. You can't be asking to sit 8 minutes into the first half. I'm sorry. I would not accept that if I was their coach. It'd be like, nope, we just got things rolling, kid. You got to get out there, man. We're losing this game by 4. I need more out of you.
Looks like we got 2 UCF players strolling off the field here. We got one of the Spartans up in the 50 wall.
Well, at least they're showing them, again, where's the threat? Who am I scared of on your team? And right now, they at least have somebody up at the center 50 wall, so they're putting a little bit of that fear into UCF, and you can tell UCF's body language are much tighter in their bunkers right now. They're concerned about that guy in the center who's going back and forth. He just went to the D side. Now he's on the snake side, trying to control that lane, keep the Knights out of the snake, but he needs help because there's no one in the snake.
Yeah, that's Austin Shao in the.
And they lose their D side. So they were up far on the D side as well, but he's in a key spot and dies out of that bunker. So they still have the center 50 wall, but they lose their first attacker, the one on the D side. And then now it looks like repositioning.
Oh, Shao just losing his gun battle. Looks like it was battling Acosta, I believe that is, for UCF.
So finally, Michigan had put themselves in pretty good position as they had a good spot on the D side, and they also had the center 50 wall, but both of those players die out of their spots gunfighting.
Oh, man. And here comes the advance on UCF.
Buford at the 50-yard line for the Knights.
Getting ready to wrap.
Yeah, he's listening to the communication come to him from his back bunker, or his back player.
Nope. We're just going to walk this one in, tree drill him.
Now they know that you can hear his coach's, or his pit is yelling to him that he only has 30 seconds left. And he looks back, checks the time. 21 seconds to go. See if they can close this point out. They should be able to. But somebody from that D side just needs to run this guy down.
Yeah. I don't think. Do they have a guy in the
Yeah,
D side? There's a
I think
player
they,
walking
I
off.
think they lost. I think they might have lost their player who was on that side. Here comes Bruford. He runs through and gets him, but with 5 seconds, we'll see if this guy's got the wheels to do it.
2, 1, diving.
Yeah, he got it.
Gonna be close. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he got that. We'll see if we get the thumbs up from the ref. And there it is. So the hang is good. Nice work by the Knights to put that 6 point on the board right before halftime. Well, the Spartans, a little bit of good news for the Spartans. They finally got up the field. They got good penetration on the D side.
Yep.
They had the center 50 was hot, but they lost both those guys out of their spots. So the good news is they're getting there. The bad news is no production while they were there, and those guys eventually lost their battles. So I understand you're in a crucial spot. You're down some points, and you want to try to make things happen. But if when the Knights were in that situation, they realized, okay, look, let's just relax. We know these guys are in good spots, and they just kind of just waited a little bit and then worked those guys out of those spots. So let's check in with Lauren.
Hey guys, I am here with Ryan Carlin. Ryan, you guys are going into this second half down quite a few points, but you can turn it around. You do have 10 more minutes. What are some things you're going to talk to your team about during this break to turn it around and get some points on that board?
Well, ideally, we just want to keep ourselves up, keep the morale up high. We know if we go in there with a positive attitude, anything can happen. There's a whole another 10 minutes of paintball to play. We just got to get our guns up, shoot guys off the break, and then we'll be able to execute.
I heard you say earlier that if you're going to lose, you're not going to lose with a huge point spread. So what were expectations coming into this match against UCF, who is a very seasoned team in this bracket?
Well, obviously we know UCF is pretty good. Second place last year. We played them yesterday. They beat us 8-3. So we knew it was going to be a grudge match. We knew win or lose, we're going to go out there and just leave it all on the field until there's 0 seconds left on the clock. Doesn't matter what the point margin is. We just want to keep it low.
Awesome. Well, I'll let you go. Talk to your team. Back to you guys.
All right, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lauren. Hey, I'm all about positive attitude, but they also need to deal with the physical reality of what's happening out there, and they are not taking enough ground.
Yeah, definitely.
So let's check out a replay.
And not staying alive.
Yeah, staying alive is the key, but it is good that they were able to make it up to those spots like we were talking about and seeing some of the action out of that. So those are those big insert bunkers on the snake side of the field. And this is that last run there with goes and checks the clock. And at this point in time, I think he had about 2-3 seconds left, and it was just barely to get it in there on time. But that was a good closeout. I mean, they only had about 22 seconds left to work that last player out, and they talked it up, and they did exactly what they needed to do to put that 6 point on the board. And now we have a 5 point spread. So, like he was saying, they played these guys yesterday and they lost to them. This is on a different field. This wasn't on the webcast field. But so that's always tough too. When you're coming and playing a team you've already played, they didn't necessarily beat you up. They beat you by 5. Yeah. It's tough. This is a hard game for the Spartans.
Yeah, but on the other side as well, you should kind of know their game plans. If you played them already, you can adjust to them. But I mean, they're just not adjusting.
But that's the most frustrating thing. Even if you know the team's game plan, this is one of those frustrating things about paintball. And it's repeatable. This is why the best teams and the best players are consistently the best teams and the best players. So even if you know it's coming, sometimes you can't stop it because they're just that much better than you. So now, this is what I'm saying. It's a big test for the Spartans. So if they know what they need to do, they need to get up the field and stay alive. At least they started to attempt to do that. They weren't just taking those back spots and trying to gunfight from there. So we'll see if they can try to put more pressure here on the Knights. It's going to be tough because the Knights are playing awesome. So we're going to take a short break. We'll be right back. Just a few moments away from the start of this second half. The UCF Knights, if you're just joining us, have been handling the Spartans nicely in the first half of play, and the Knights are absolutely one of the favorites here. Catfish, who would you say is the favorite in your mind right now?
Well, I mean,
UCF's getting up there.
UCF is definitely, in my book, UCF is the favorite. Just the way that they're playing. I mean, everything's smooth. They're composed. They're shooting off the break. They're closing out these points. Nice, you know. They're not getting sloppy off the closeout, which a lot of teams do. You know, once you're closing out a point, you tend to lose one or two bodies, but they're staying alive.
Yeah, I agree. So right now, the battle developing here in the center at that center 50. The Spartans losing one body off the break, so UCF continues those off the break shots. Almost every single point they're producing a kill. But I do like the aggression from the Spartans.
Oh, they're doubling up the wall now.
However, the Knights now double stacking up that center 50 with Evans, and Evans looks like he wants to run through. You can see by his body language he's edging around, and he's going to want to launch, and there he goes, and Evans comes through, he gets one, begging for a penalty, and he's going to get it.
Jedi that penalty right there. Major penalty. It's a major.
So frustrating turn of events here for the Spartans as they draw a major penalty, and it's going to be 2 minutes. Body goes into that box, and he's going to be there for that whole 2-minute time period.
That's just unfortunate right now.
It is.
I mean, so a few points. You're starting off a man short because their guns are just laning perfectly right now, and now you just add a penalty onto it.
It's, yeah, absolutely frustrating. The ray of light for the Spartans, at least they seem to acknowledge and understand the issue at stake. They are attempting to push up the field. They are trying to get to better positions, and it looks like they're trying to play tight in there, but the Knights are just better.
Man, it's just like there's
just
a big
better right now.
Cloud just thundering down on them right now.
So 8 minutes, 49 seconds to go. Lots of time left here in this second half, but if this is going to be a long second half for the Spartans if they can't keep 5 alive off the break and if they keep losing guys out of their spots. And also, I mean, even in the last one, so they made the center 50, but they did not play the aggressor. So they got to the good spot, and then Evans gets in there, and he's like, I'm just going to run through and take this guy out. And at that point, there had already been a couple bodies to drop. So let's check out this replay here, this action in the center. So look at Evans on the right-hand side of your screen. He's edging around, does it perfectly, comes through, gets him clean.
Yeah,
that's a penalty right there.
That's a two-piece right there for Evans.
Yeah,
Pretty
so
much.
Evans gets this guy, he spins on him, and then Evans gets riddled from the back center, but Evans did his work and then draws that major, and then that means that not only does that guy come off that he shot, but he spun, so his buddy comes off too and goes in the box, and he's going to be sitting in there for 1 minute and 41 seconds. That's not going to help the comeback here for the Spartans.
Yeah, it's real dismal.
Can we just? I want to get some more games like Penn State and East Carolina yesterday.
Yeah,
Can we get some more games like that.
Yeah, I would love more games.
One
like
point
that.
game, overtime, a good little comeback for the Pirates to tie it up, to take it to overtime.
I honestly thought the Pirates were going to pull that one out, man.
They look good.
But Penn State was just
They looked a little better.
Yeah, they were a step ahead. They were definitely a step ahead.
Yeah,
and I believe that the Pirates lost, the track of time.
Well, we're going to see the Pirates. They're actually playing in the next game.
Okay.
So I'm assuming. I mean, we'll see. They seem to have they seemed very honest about what happened in that game. We talked to them afterwards.
Exactly,
I just love the attitude that those kids had.
And they were just consistently making that D3 off the break too, which was really impressive. And the huge for UCF shooting a guy off the break, bringing it down to a 3-on-5 weight UCF player while strolling off the back, making it a 3-on-4. Still over a minute left on that penalty that Spartans got. Looks like we got.
Now Evans is in the snake.
And that's bad news.
Quite the versatile man. Evans plays the snake, plays the center, plays the 2.
Well, Matty, this is his last tournament because I believe he's graduating. So he wants a win right here.
He's hungry.
He is super hungry. He's all over the place.
UCF definitely looks hungry. I know it's a team that's done very well in past years, but they look like they want to win this tournament. They have a big. There's a lot of good teams here.
Yeah.
Liberty's good. Texas A&M's good. I mean, we'll see. I mean, that's why we're shooting the paintballs at each other. There goes another. Oh, it looks like Evans traded out. So, but another body walking off for the Spartans.
About 20, a little over 20 seconds left in the penalty.
And here comes the last player blazing through the center to bunker out. the lone survivor here in the back bunker on the snake side for the Spartans. They were able to take some of that time off the penalty.
Oh, no. 10 seconds, about 10 seconds on penalty. This is going to be close.
Yeah, he's going to need to sprint that in to try to preserve any of the penalty. So the Spartans will have to start down a man and play the first 5 seconds.
Yeah, 5 seconds. I mean, hopefully he makes it out of that box. We will see.
Well, people may not think, oh, 5, 6 seconds. That's not that much time. They're going to get the body right back, and you're definitely right. Gabby, you can see a frustrated Michigan State right now. But even just that 6 seconds, the most important thing for me is the lack of the gun off the break.
Oh, yeah.
That's the most important thing. That's why you're trying to sprint that flag in to try to at least keep that penalty on the clock. Because you always, hey, man, if I can look at 4 guns instead of 5, I'm going to want to do that every day of the week and twice on Sundays. And here we go. You see there, but UCF hungry to run this score up, too. They want to win this one and win it big. And
oh, man, just ruining our equipment up here, man.
And no one's safe out there.
We're going to need you guys to help us out and go to the page and donate. See our cameras getting shot up. Jesus, we're falling apart.
So this starting to become a huge point spread now. 7 points separate these two teams. They're still working with 7 minutes and 12 seconds left to go. 6 seconds on that major that the Spartans drew. But the Knights, definitely a big favorite here.
Yeah. I mean, they came in second, so, you know, they're hungry. They've had a taste of the limelight, as to say. They want to go back up there and win one.
They just look so calm and composed.
Yeah.
They look like they've been here before, and they have, but it's you know, obviously it's been a year since since the last championships, and you know, they played great, but they've been able to maintain. Their talent level on that team is high. They're very consistent. It's, you know, they're able to replicate these off the break shots over and over and over again. They got pretty much the same crew. They're looking real sharp. Can't really take anything away from the Knights right now. Spartans on the other side, they're trying.
Yeah,
they're keeping that positive attitude for the most part. I haven't really seen them starting to walk off slow or, you know, put their eyes to the sky and stop pondering their existence.
Carlin getting smoked in the grill, trying to dive into the snake. Looks like we got 2 Spartans walking off the field, and just a relentless attack coming from UCF right now down the field. Looks like they got someone at the center 50 wall. I believe they're on a 4-on-3 at this point. I could be wrong.
Well,
oh, wow, and just losing a gun battle out of that big wall.
Yeah, so the Knights with an uncharacteristic early death out of their bunkers.
Oh,
There's another one. There goes
also.
another one, too. So that should slow this point down a little bit here and grind some of the time off, which was not what the Spartans want to do. Now, the Knights on the other side, yeah, they should actually be told. I know they want to run the score up and they want to win this one and win it big, but they should be completely content to just sit in their bunkers and roll their guns right now with this huge 7-point lead and just 6 minutes to go. It's up to the Spartans to try to push forward.
Looks like it's a 2-on-2 at this point right now, Matt. Looks like we have the Spartans trying to push the Dorito side. We got one of the UCF players in the Dorito. No, actually, I misspoke. It's a 3. Oh, no, it's a 2-on-2.
Yeah, well, the Spartans had a slight advantage there for a second and then lost the body. And then they're going to lose another body, too, as a pretty bad gunfight death out of the back corner bunker on the D side.
One, man.
So it was a 3-on-2 situation in favor of the Spartans, but 2 quick deaths out of their spots.
So there's the last one. So
just making
no buzzer.
Just making so easy. Just making easy work out of the 2, even a 2-on-3.
Yeah.
Low body situation for the Knights there, and they were still able to win. And it was like 2 quick gunfight wins.
Oh yeah, 2 real quick.
So let's check in with Lauren Kelly. Looks like she's down in the pits with the Knights.
Hey, Maddie, like you said, UCF is very calm. Obviously, they're super confident in their pits right now. They're going to take this win. You're going to see them start slowing down because they really just want to get time off the clock, take this win, and call it a match. Back to you.
Yeah, I could hear him screaming "story time."
Yeah.
Which is, I think that's a Florida call.
Yeah.
You know, like a code from everywhere in the
lockout.
all over the world. Everyone's got like the different codes they call for specific instances within the context of the game. So story time for some of these Florida teams, so I think it's a Tampa Bay damage call, and that means, hey, just, you know, just kick it in your bunker, shoot some streams of paint, talk it up, and just run the clock down.
Yep.
So that's what the Knights are going to do. So the Spartans, again, this game's over. I've never seen a team come back from down 8 with 5 minutes left. We've seen some big comebacks over the years, but I've never seen an 8-point comeback with 5 minutes. I've seen a 5-point comeback with 4 minutes before.
Yeah.
Dynasty came back on AC Dallas last year. I can't remember what the point spread was on that one, but that was a pretty ridiculous comeback. I've lost to Dynasty before when we were up like 5 or 6 points.
Yeah. I think we've
That was really frustrating.
We've all lost to Dynasty before.
Yes, we have. I mean, I've beat Dynasty a fair share of times, but they've beat me more than I've won against them, to be honest.
It's hard to admit, but yeah.
Yeah, I was talking to before Impact went on their most recent run and was just dominant last year, 2016. But before that, 2015, they had a whole string of second places that they kept taking. And I would empathize with them. I'm like, hey, man, I empathize with you 100% because one year we took second place 5 times in a row. 5 tournaments in a row we took second place. That was really frustrating.
The good old days. Frustrating era. Looks like UCF making a dive into the snake this time. Not even waiting. Looks like they're also making a push into the little wall on the Dorito side. Looks like everyone's still alive. Both teams still 5 strong. Look for Michigan Spartan trying to get into snake, which he dips into now. I believe that's Carlin, making his way into snake 1. So right now the snake is mirrored by a Spartan player and UCF until Carlin goes into snake 2. Looks like we have a UCF player coming off from the middle stand-up can in the white zone.
Well, the Spartans attempting to push. I mean, they have Carlin in a good spot. We just needed this a little bit before. I was just about to say they also have D2 at the top, but that guy loses his gunfight. There goes Carlin to the 50-yard line here. Might get a kill cross field, and I think he did. Nice move by Carlin. And the Knights, even though they were, you know, yelling story time and talking about how they were going to hold, but they actually had a player in D3 in the red zone over there, and they got a player in snake 1 as well. See if Carlin can do some more work from this 50-yard line. He's already got a confirmed kill cross field, but he's getting pinched out. And here comes the Spartans now pushing up past the D side, and there goes 3 bodies walking off at the same time for the Knights. And there goes the last player, gets shot out of snake 1. So nice work by Carlin and his teammate over there on the D side to put their second point on the board here with probably around 3:10 by the time he hangs that up.
Meaning that was Vallejos on the D side over there doing damage, doing some work, clocking in. Possibly a little late, but, you know, nevertheless, still getting those kills.
Hey, they have another game today, so
this is true.
It's
too late for this game.
Yes, this game's over.
Yeah.
It's just going to be, it just depends. Are we going to see another point score for the Spartans, another one for the Knights, 3:11 left? Look for the Knights to take a rather conservative breakout on this next point and look for the Spartans to push aggressive. And we're going to be right back after this. Stick with us.
He gets rolled back. There's an event. He'll play with me. I want to play with my boy. He's not there. You can put him behind me. That's fine.
So, not a lot of time left, and it looks like, oh, we got faked out. Thought we were going to be back here with just a few seconds to go before the start of this next point, but it looks like a timeout is being called by probably the Spartans, I'm guessing.
Spartans trying to ice down UCF right now.
Yeah, they're trying to ice them down with this 7-point spread so they can it's yeah.
These guys are so tricky out here.
When you can see there UCF hiding from the sun.
Yeah, it's gonna be a little scorcher today.
Yeah, it's not bad right now. It wasn't that bad yesterday. We've had way worse tournaments here in Orlando before. But it's going to be in the mid to high 80s again today, but it's been breezy. We might even see a little bit of rain this afternoon. Hopefully not.
Which has been the worst weather you've seen at a tournament,
God.
in your opinion, that you've
I mean,
been
there's
at?
at least a half a dozen. I'm going to think about that for a second. Well, while I think about that, let's check in with Lauren.
TJ Seiverling. Now, you guys have pretty much run away with this first match here on day 2. How much did you learn yesterday playing this layout? You went undefeated that day as well.
I think it took a little bit to figure it out. We hadn't practiced on it in quite a while. So it took a little bit for us to gel and get together and figure it out.
How much did you figure out, though? What were some of the things that really stuck out at the end of the day?
Shooting, you got to get a kill off break. Get a kill off break, and you can pretty much run the table. So if our lanes are good on the D side and snake side, then we'll be all right.
When you have such a significant lead in a match, do you guys decide to experiment and try out new things and try out new bunkers, bounce shots, plays, whatever it might be?
We do try to experiment a little bit. We know we got a tough team coming up, so we're trying to run smart. We're also trying to slow this game down. We're pretty wore out, so try to get some rest.
All right, well, back to you guys.
Well, they've definitely been running around all over the place out there, putting up point after point after point. All right, I'm thinking the worst weather that or one of the worst games ever was we played Infamous at night in a downpour. It's actually it's in a documentary called Heroes for a Day, but that might have been, I think, the worst one because it was literally under the lights at night in a giant downpour with just ankle-deep mud everywhere, and it was a giant cheat fest, and there were almost fights, and the refs couldn't keep up. It was pretty ridiculous. That might have been the worst one ever. There's a lot more, but that was the first one that popped in my mind.
Mine would have to be when we were in Texas. This is before I joined the Ironman. We were in Texas, and a tornado dropped on the tournament.
Yep.
They had to shut that one down.
But we didn't have to play through the tornado.
There's two, but they shut it down. That was kind of bad.
Yeah, I remember running for the hills, trying to find a basement. So right now, 2 minutes and 27 seconds left to go. And the Spartans were able to make it in the snake there. He was on your screen. This is the player shooting over the back of his head, trying to give him some support. Some bodies are walking off for UCF. And some fatigue, like he was saying in that interview, might be setting in for them as a bunch of bodies all walking off pretty much at the same time. Should be a pretty easy point right now for the Spartans. I don't think anyone's left alive. Actually, there is still one body left alive. Back corner bunker, snake side here for UCF. Spartans starting to close the gap. They definitely know the count now. And gonna try to run down the last player. No, takes him out. Nice move by the last player left alive over here in the back corner. The Spartan player ran that route the way you're supposed to run it. He ran it at the bunker, but Spidey senses were tingling for the last player for UCF. He ends up getting taken out, but not before he got one.
We got Carlin here getting ready to stroll this third point on the board. UCF
perfect Cyclops right there. Every ounce of paint ended up on that dude's face.
Yeah. Just the blank circle in the middle.
So a little signs of life from the Spartans at the end of this one, which is good to see because their tournament is not over yet. They still have another game to play.
But this game is too late.
Yeah, it's too late for this game. This game's been over probably, I'd say, just about 2 minutes into the second half.
Yeah.
You could even make an argument that at the last couple points in the first half.
I wouldn't argue with
UCF just looks so dominant out there.
Yeah, I mean, like we said earlier, their shots are on point, man. They're just clipping people off the break, and it's going to be difficult. It's difficult to play 4 on 5, you know, especially against UCF that just has their points on, you know, your shots on point.
So let's check out this replay so watch this little, this is how you try to pull out a low body situation. Try to catch somebody as they're coming through the open space to bunker you out. But Lynch ran that route the right way. I mean, he ran directly. He didn't go wide. He didn't get sloppy. He ran directly at the bunker. He stayed low. But
Cyclops.
But that last player was able to just pop up at the exact right time to get him and stay alive. Unfortunately for him, there was 2 more bodies on the Spartans, and they got out wide on the D side and were shooting him in the back. So the Knights pumping the brakes right now, trying to get a little bit of a breather before they head into their next match.
Just over a minute left in this not so exciting match at this point now.
Yeah, anytime it gets to this point, it's pretty much a lot of the same story.
Same story.
But the Knights, I don't know who looks better. I don't know if does A&M look better than the Knights. I think you could probably make a solid argument that they do, but you could also make a solid argument that the Knights look better. We're not going to know until they play each other.
And hopefully that will be on Sunday.
Texas A&M put up 10. It was 10-0 against Platteville. That wasn't on the webcast field. It was on one of the other fields over there. But so that was probably the biggest statement, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, and Platteville's not one of the top-ranked teams out here, but Platteville had a really good game on the webcast field yesterday. So they look pretty decent.
So we got 2 Spartans walking off right now. Carlin coming off for the Spartans on their snake side. We got UCF players just walking down the field with their guns up, eliminating Spartan players as they come. Looks like this will be the 10th point of the match for UCF.
Yeah, so their pit's yelling at Evans to just run the timeout.
Yeah.
So Evans is going to walk in and
Probably
then just
not even hang it.
No, he'll definitely hang it, but he's going to hang it with 5 seconds left probably. And Spartans are not going to concede. They're pretty much done. So he's going to hang that up under 10 seconds, so we'll burn that 8 seconds off. What a game for Evans and the rest of the boys for the Knights, though, Catfish.
Looking sharp, man. They just continue to look sharp, to continue to shoot their lanes, and they look unstoppable at this point.
So here's a little action from that last point. No, Catfish, I agree.
He's just getting grilled up right there.
I think, obviously that the Knights threw a couple points away at the end, and there was some signs of life for the Spartans. They were pushing. They were trying to get up in the center. They were trying to get in the snake. They got in there a couple times. They had real big survivability issues on the D side. I think if we could isolate a particular side of the field that let the Spartans down, it would be that D side of the field. They couldn't ever really get anything going over there.
Yeah.
Snake side a little bit with Carlin, a little bit more consistent. And it looks like Lauren is down in the pits right now with Michigan State. Let's hear what they have to say about their loss.
Hey guys, I'm standing here with George Vlahos. That match didn't go your way. We did see you guys play here against Tennessee yesterday, and you played really strong. This is the team's first time playing X-Ball in this bracket. So you had to know you were going to be an underdog, but how do you feel about the performance you've had so far this weekend?
Well, we actually think we did a lot better than we did in the previous season. Our second half of this year was kind of not what we wanted to be. Our team didn't get out to play as much. But yesterday we really were happy with the way we performed. We got to play Tennessee, as I'm sure Ryan said earlier. We were really happy with our performance, but today we knew that, we had high hopes. We thought it was going to be 50-50, but, we're just glad we got here to play one more point. And, we're happy with where we're at right now.
Awesome. Well, you guys are having a strong showing for it being your first time, so good job on that. Back to you, Maddie.
Thanks, Lauren. Well, Catfish, before we head to a quick break, just want to let everyone know that we were asking for it and we're going to get it. So the winner of this match, which was the Central Florida Knights, they're going to be playing Texas A&M
Dun, dun, dun.
after the lunch break this afternoon. So definitely going to want to tune in for that. Also stick around because coming at you next, we have the Clemson University Tigers taking on the East Carolina University Pirates. We'll be back. More action from the 2017 NCPA tournament. See you in just a few.